Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Miyushi and welcome back to another true crime episode with me. If you are in Namibia right now, you would know that it is cold. It is freezing cold, so I decided to just make myself a cup of tea while we talk about this story. Today's story comes all the way from South Africa, Johannesburg. We are going to talk about Karapo Mokwena's story. Karapo's story is so heartbreaking because it happened within a very short period. She didn't even stand a chance. Let me get into the first episode of this series, Why Men Scare Me. I don't think I've told you guys this before. The male species really scare me. From all the clips that I've watched, it seems that she came from a very supportive household. Interviews from when they were talking, you can tell that everybody really loved and adored Karapo. The way her mother spoke about her, the way her sister spoke about her, you can tell that she was really loved at home. Karapo was a part-time student. She was doing a course in business studies. I saw some of her videos from the internet. She was giving a motivational speech. The way she sounded, you could see that she had like so much fire within her and she was so vibrant. She talked about how as a person you should not define yourself only by how you look like. You are more than that. You got more to give.
Hi guys, I'm Karapo Mokwena, and I just want to share a few of my thoughts on beauty. So, for example, most of us desire to be white. Most. And he's not exactly marrying my hair or my light skin or my dark skin or my curves. My curves are not going to cook for him, and my hair is definitely not going to assume the roles and the responsibilities of a wife in that home. He still needs to deal with the flaws in my character, unpleasant attitudes and behaviors, or whatever that he may find. So let's work on being. Let's work on becoming successful individuals and finding wholeness and fulfillment in our individuality. The long and short of it, of what I'm trying to say is, while our beauty can open great doors for us, it cannot sustain them. Only the quality of our character can do that for us.
If she would have been alive by now, she would have done a lot of things in society. Also, she was part of organizations that stood for women's rights, how women should be protected in society. She was fighting violence against the women. South Africa, as we know, is one of those countries where femicide rate is skyrocketing. Karapo met Sandile at a nightclub. One of those pretty ladies, once you see a guy dating them, you go, how did that guy end up with that girl? That was literally what I thought, or the first thing that came to mind when I saw Sandile. Sandile was very charming, he was very charismatic, he was just Romeo. And like that, plus the money that he had, it made it easier for him to just charm women more easily, because what you say can be backed up by your actions easily because you got the money to afford to do so. Sandile and Karapo started dating almost instantly. They got to know each other, decided that, you know what, we are really good for each other and we should start dating, and they started dating. The relationship moved rather quickly. I'm talking fast, because within weeks Sandile met Karapo's parents and Karapo met Sandile's parents. They were playing on staying with one another. For them to be able to do that, it's better if the parents are involved so that the parents know who your partner is, right? So this is exactly what they did. They introduced each other to each other's parents within weeks, and then within a month, Karapo moved in Sandile's apartment. He had an apartment in Sandton. I could get the sense that this place was a very luxurious place. We were talking luxury. A lot of her friends didn't think this was a great deal. As early as weeks within the relationship, Sandile started abusing Karapo. At first, abuse in most cases, it first starts as verbal and then it moves to physical. I was telling her friends about it. She was sending pictures to her friends saying that Sandile is doing ABC. Friends knew about the abuse, and because they knew about the abuse, they did not think it was a good idea that Karapo moved into Sandile's place. But Karapo was in in love. Karabo was really, really in love with Sandile, that she was willing to do whatever for this guy. The months progressed, the relationship also got more toxic. The abuse got physical. 27th of March 2017, Sandile and Karabo got into a fight. But this fight landed Karabo into the hospital. The reason why they fought, it was not disclosed to the public. We know that the fight was really, really, really bad. She sent pictures to her friend. The pictures are online, and you can see Karabo looks so bad. She was a beautiful, beautiful woman, and here she is looking like that because of Sandile. It was really heartbreaking. Birthday was on the 27th of March. It was her birthday, and they were looking for her to, wish her a happy birthday. Some people start looking for you as early as 12 a.m. so that they can wish you a happy birthday. Karabo was not picking up. They tried her phone the whole day. She was not picking up until later that day. Called her mom from a different number, a number which is not hers. He told her that she's in the hospital, and she's in the hospital because Sandile beat her up again. He smashed her phone. I can't even begin to imagine what horrific things were going through her mother's mind when she was hearing her daughter talking about the pain that she is in. Karabo's mom told Karabo to just leave the man. She said that, Karabo, if you do not leave this guy is going to kill you one day, and I don't want that to happen. He pleaded with Karabo to please leave Sandile. All of her friends were basically telling her the same thing. They were like, friend, leave this guy. And Karabo listened. She really listened. After she was discharged from the hospital, she went, packed her bags, and she said goodbye to Sandile. People were trying to convince her to go to the police station so that she can open a case. This man literally just physically assaulted her. So most people were advising her to go open a case so that she can have record of what he's doing to her, so that they can actually have record if they needed it. Which I'm so glad they did, because they really did need it, and it played a very major role in his sentencing. Her friends succeeded in convincing her to open a case. She stood up and she went to the police station ready to open a case against Sandile. When she got there, however, she learned that Sandile got there earlier. He got there before her, and he opened a case against her. You see, now Karabo was like, why would he do that? Now she was pissed. At first, she was feeling sorry for the man. She was like, this is, my man. This is my boyfriend. I don't want him to go to jail. But when she got there and she learned that he actually got there first and opened a case against her for the same thing, the physical assault, she was pissed. And she was like, yeah, I am done with this relationship. And she was really, really done for good this time. It was funny how the police took Sandile seriously, because clearly they can see that Karabo is covered in bruises, but Sandile does not have a single scratch on him. So it doesn't make sense. For some reason, they believed him. So Sandile had money, guys. He was able to buy his way around things. Karabo now decided that she's done. She is done with Sandile. She's done with this relationship. She's going to leave him. She's going to move on. And she was really sticking to her word. She moved on. She left him. She was healing, doing her thing, going back to charities. She was also busy in the process of trying to start an NGO. She was a busy girl. She was busy with school. Until one day, on the 28th of April 2017, almost a month after she was in the hospital, her and her friend decided, we have been through a lot. Let's go out. Let's enjoy life. Let's celebrate. She agreed. I mean, they are young. They are beautiful. So why not? They decided to go out. And at the club that they chose to go to, surprise, surprise, guess who is there? Sandile. But he is not alone. Sandile is there with another girl. Karabo saw this and she was like, we broke up a month ago, and here you are chilling and vulgating with somebody else. It's not gonna be like that. What do you think you're doing? They managed to decide that, what are we doing? We love each other, so let's work things out and see where it goes, and just be together. At night, they left together. That was a very, very fatal mistake for Karabo. Karabo left the club with Sandile and she went back to Sandile's apartment. The viral CCTV footage that you guys have seen probably 1,000 times. You can see her walking into the apartment from the elevator with Sandile. You can see clearly from her face, you can see that she's not happy. What happened in that apartment that day, only 2 people know. And those people are Karabo and Sandile. Karabo is not here to tell us what happened that night. As for Sandile, that man has told so many versions of this story. I have no idea which is which anymore. The next day, the 29th of April, people are looking for Karabo. Karabo's people were always looking for her. They really, really loved her. The first person, obviously, they called is Sandile because that's her boyfriend, and also that's the person that she left the previous night with. Karabo's mom called Sandile. Sandile, I'm looking for Karabo. Sandile said that he doesn't know where Karabo is. He said that Karabo got into a car with a Nigerian. For some reason, Nigerian people are always dragged into things. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, she got into a car with some Nigerian man. He wanted to say that she got into this car and she left the country with these men. Sandile told everybody that Karabo got into a car with a Nigerian man and she skipped town. Basically, she left the country. People did not buy this. Karabo was very close to her family and friends. So if she was going to leave the country, obviously she was going to tell people, close people to her, that she's going to leave the country. So her leaving the country without telling anybody, that just did not seem like Karabo. So they did not believe Sandile. His mom started to press for answers. She was not taking no for an answer because deep down she just knew that something was wrong. You know, a mother's instincts. She knew that something was wrong and Sandile had to do with it. When he was on the call with Karabo's mom, Sandile made a statement that was eerie. He said that he does not know where Karabo is, but he had not killed her, which is very weird because nobody was talking about killing Karabo, and also Karabo's mom was not thinking about that. That was the last thing that was on her mind. So it stood out for her. Sandile was just busy implicating himself. He was busy digging his own grave. Karabo's mom went to the police station to try and open a missing persons case. The more I do these true crime cases, the more police officers are just not really looking good. Because when they went to the police on the 29th of March, they were refused. They refused to open a missing persons case. Why they refused, I have no idea. But I guess maybe one of the reasons was the fact that, for you to open a missing persons case, the person has to be missing for 24 hours, which, by the way, I told you guys that it's a lie. There's no such thing. But maybe that's one of the reasons that they gave. On the 29th, Karabo's mom with a broken heart went home. She had no idea what her baby is, and the police officers are saying that she has to wait before they can take her case seriously. She started doing her own investigations, and the only person that she really focused on was Sandile. She called Sandile. She pressed for answers. She knew Sandile knew something, but as for Sandile, he was adamant that he had no idea where Karabo is. On the 30th of April, this is when finally the police decided to listen to Karabo's mom and her family and friends, and finally they opened a missing persons case. But a day before that, a body was discovered in a nearby town, and this body was discovered by police officers there, and it was burned. It was burned beyond recognition, and they had no idea who the victim is. The 6 persons case was opened, and this is now they could officially now go and investigate Sandile properly. They can go now, ask him questions, and maybe hopefully acquire a search warrant and search his place. They went to Sandile's apartment to go talk to him. Karabo's mom was also there with the police officers. They went to Sandile's apartment to talk to Sandile, and when they got there, they were informed that Sandile was not around. They called Sandile to let him know that, we are at your apartment. Come by. We have a few questions for you regarding Karabo's disappearance. They did not know that she had passed on. They were still under the impression that she's still alive, disappeared somewhere, maybe tied up or something. Sandile informed them that he is at a work meeting, but he will be there at around 9 a.m. While they waited, one of the cleaners came holding an ID as well as a passport. He gave to the police officers because he found the items in a trash bin while he was doing his routine cleaning duties. He gave the documents to the police officers. The police officers took one good look at the documents and immediately they knew that these documents belonged to Karapo. Now they knew that something is wrong. They knew that something is really, 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 really terribly wrong. They decided that while we are here, why not we look at the CCTV footage of the 28th? They watched the CCTV footage. CCTV footage showed Sandile and Karapo entering the apartment complex. But the CCTV also showed footage of Sandile leaving the apartment complex, but they don't see Karapo leaving the apartment complex. What they see is Sandile coming back a few moments later with a wheelie bin, you know, those big dustbins. He rolled the bin inside the apartment complex and then he rolled it outside the apartment complex. Into his confession that Karapo's body was in that wheelie bin. Sandile came back after the meeting. He came back at 9 a.m. and they took him down to the police station to go ask him questions. He tried to spin the story of Karapo being in the UK. Story was disputed by the fact that the passport was found in a trash can. How can she be in the UK if the passport is in the trash can? Make it make sense. The second story that he spun was that Karapo had committed suicide by stabbing herself in the neck multiple times. In his words, she was depressed, she was suicidal, she had problems. He went out for like just 4 minutes and then when he came back, Karapo was deceased. The police were like, Sandile, we don't believe you. Don't buy that. A lot of people were like, we don't buy that. This is when he changed the story again. He added that Karapo, yes, did commit suicide, but he knew why. He knew that it was because they had made a pact earlier, like a sacrificial pact, so that they can gain more wealth. And within this, one of the conditions of this act that they made was that they stay together. If they break up, then Sandile is going to lose all his money. Now Sandile apparently was starting to lose the money. For him to regain his wealth or to be saved from being bankrupt or going bankrupt, one of them had to give their life, and Karapo chose to give her life. So basically, in a sense, he was telling people that Karapo sacrificed her life for his wealth. So he's stuck with the story of her unaliving herself. He's a monster, shame. The trial came to a conclusion and the judge found Sandile guilty.
The court cannot describe you in any other way than a devil in disguise. She did not deserve to perish at your hands in the way that she did. Your cold-heartedness towards the deceased is evident from your conduct after you killed her. You went on with your life as if nothing was wrong and nothing happened. The cause of a death could not post-mortem be established, and it was left to the court to make such a finding. In sentencing you, the intention is not only to punish you for what you had done, but also to serve as a warning to others that this type of conduct, and I'm stressing abusive conduct towards women, will not be tolerated in our society. As far as the interest of society is concerned, no sentence that the court will impose today will bring back the deceased to life. She is now gone forever, thanks to you. Her memory will still live on, however.
Yes.
By sentencing an offender, the court must make it clear to the community that their interests are also important. And the community has a right to know that she did not die in vain. It would not be inappropriate to call you a person that gives men a bad name. One looks at your actions beforehand and afterwards. The court has no doubt that you are a danger to society. You've shown no remorse at all. Even in evidence today, you try to avoid responsibility. You deserve nothing less than a harsh punishment. No other sentence than imprisonment would be appropriate. You caused an imbalance in the scale of justice, and that imbalance must now be corrected by imposing an appropriate sentence. To take a life comes at a high price. The court has no doubt that you will now, from now on, be an outcast in the community. The court is of the opinion that the following would be an appropriate sentence. For the assault charge, you are sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. For murder, you are sentenced to 30 years imprisonment. For the attempt to defeat or obstruct the cause of justice, you are sentenced to 4 years imprisonment. In the interest of mercy, the court orders that 2 years of the 5 years on count 1 and 4 years on count 3 run concurrently with a sentence on count 2. The effective sentence is therefore 32 years imprisonment.
For the murder of Karapo, and he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. He was given 32. Guys, do the math. He'll be out when he is 58. Yeah, he'll be out. 58 is still young. Should have given him at least until 70. When Karapo's body was found, there was a police officer that claimed that some of her organs were missing, especially her inner organs. They were missing, and they wanted to tie the case to, witchcraft angle. But I don't know, I'm not so sure, because if the body parts were burned beyond recognition, then how could they have tell? But apparently where the organs were supposed to be, there were no ashes. That's why they could tell that, the organs were just not there in the first place. So Sandile up to now really never said anything. All he did was be so arrogant. He was so flashy, like he would show up there in court, with his big watch, my dear, a lot was going on. He was like a celebrity, guys. He was like a celebrity, and I was like, Sandile, calm down. But that is the story of Karapo. That was really, really sad. When I was researching this case, it was sad because it could be you, it could be me, it could be anybody. I'm done with the case, I'm done with the story, but let me just add a story of my own. So one day I was traveling from Swakopmund to Uwis, and on the way I was in the car with a woman and a man. They were a couple. Now the car was a double cab, meaning you could sit in the front, and then 3 people could sit in the back, and then there was a bakkie. But me, I was sitting here at the back with 2 older ladies. While I was sitting there waiting for the car to finish loading up, one of the older ladies was telling me that one of the ladies that were in the back, she was there with her boyfriend. The lady was having a baby, but she was in the car with her boyfriend, and they were traveling to Korihas. The man apparently was very, very abusive. He is very, very abusive. I don't know why I'm saying was. But the man is very, very abusive. And you could tell because, the way she was with him when they were standing together, she was like squeamish. And I was like, what is going on? And this older woman, she was letting me know on the gist. She was like, that man is very abusive. He really, beats his woman up and things like that. And I was like, I was listening to the story. I was like, yeah, sure. So we started driving to go to Uwis and Korihas. And on the way, the car had to be stopped because while everybody was in the buggy, the men started beating the woman. Mind you, it was just not the 2 of them in the car. They were like other people as well. But apparently, while they are there, they started arguing and the men started hitting the woman. I was like, if he can do that in front of people, imagine what he does behind closed doors. But anyway, the car stopped. They managed to calm them down. They calmed down and they got back into the car. The car drove in peace until always. I don't know, maybe until Korjas, I'm not sure. But I got off in always. But that was my first time coming like close and face to face with somebody in, okay, no, I'm lying, it's not the first time, but that was really bad. That was intense. His energy, that guy's energy, like you could feel it was just so dark. Apparently he spent like a couple of years in prison. He had this really dark energy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's those type of guys that you know that if this one found me in the middle of the night in the dark, he is going to do something to you. He is going to SA you. That is the type of energy that I got. It's like, yo, So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for spending so much time with me. I like it when you guys spend time with me. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. That way you guys can help my channel grow. The only way you can support my channel, which is free by the way, is just to like. So please like. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys so much. Stay safe. And remember, guys, please, if you need help, if you feel like you're in a relationship that is abusive and you need help, do not hesitate to contact any person. Just anybody. Just call. Just text. Go anonymous. Chat GTP. I don't know, anybody. Just talk to anybody. Look for help. Help is just always ready on the other side of asking. You need to ask for it. So yeah, be safe and I will see you in my next video. Bye.